Hey everybody, this is Tom with The Board Gamer. Today we're going to do a quick overview and review for this game. If you want the full how-to, go ahead and click this icon up here or the link in the description. Now let's get into it. The basic overview has a lead player starting the round by playing a card blindly from their hand, and then each other player blindly playing a card from their hand. Once all cards have been played, compare them to the lead card and score accordingly. Vamp on the Batwalk was an interesting game. One of the hardest things to do is not look at your cards. It's almost compulsive to pick them up as they're facing you. But once you get past that compulsion, you enter a mix of luck and strategy when deciding what cards to play in each show. You know all the opponent's cards, and aside from a handful not used in the round, you have a good idea of what cards you do not have. This lack of control might not be for everyone, but I think in larger groups and maybe even non-gamer groups will get the most out of this game. But enough pre-show, let's get on with the main event and see what this game has to show us. The components for Vamp on the Batwalk are mainly cards. These oversized cards are made to be seen from further across the table, which is great for larger groups. The art is cute and follows the theme of fashionable vampires. I do wish there was a bit of variety in the poses for each value, but either way, it doesn't affect the gameplay. You also have the standees for each vampire, with the same pose on the card to make them easily identifiable. Also, what I found very neat and creative is that you have your catwalk, or rather your Batwalk. This is just the bottom of the box and the inside of the top box. It is simple, but it gives the game real table presence that just cards could not pull off. This fun way to keep score is very thematic. Altogether, the components make for an inviting game. Nothing that feels intimidating, but enough to be noticed when it's on the table. When discussing ease of play, I have to warn you, the rules are fairly simple, but at the end of each show, there will be questions on why a certain card won, at least in your first few playthroughs. Personally, we found it easiest to push the lead card slightly higher than all the other cards and change it, if need be, as soon as another player becomes the new lead. This small addition makes things easier to understand throughout the game. This is not a hard game to learn and play, making it more accessible, but can get confusing if you're not paying attention. I would place the replay value for Vamp on the Batwalk higher for larger groups than smaller ones. It's easier to get amped up with high volume of players than it is with 2, 3, or even 4 players. If you have a larger group of hyped up players that don't mind luck-based play, you will have more replayability than others with this game. Speaking of luck and strategy, this game has an interesting mechanic that makes you strategize not by what's in your hand, but what's in your opponent's. Since you can only see everyone else's cards and not your own, you're sort of guessing what your strategy is. One of your cards is exactly what you need to steal the show and possibly win, while the other cards would work great for other shows. It's more of a strategy game for what can happen, not based on other players, but on what you do. Contrary to other games, where you have a good strategy based on what you have and what your opponents might do. I would almost argue that this is a game more luck than strategy, but not to the point where it's all luck. If you keep an eye on your opponent's cards and remember past shows, you can get a pretty good idea of what you might have and reduce the luck. But you will never completely remove luck from this game. Vamp on the Batwalk's theme of fashion show is well displayed in this game. Even more so, the fact that the vampires cannot see their reflections, so you cannot see the cards you are holding, is a fun and interesting gameplay twist. Even down to the box acting as your runway. Now I do wish there were a variety of different poses, but from what I know of fashion shows, it's less about the models and it's more about the fashion. With that being the case, the single pose is more thematic, so for grading them on theme, this is a model game, pun intended. In the end, I have to say, Vamp on the Batwalk is an interesting game that has and sticks to a fun theme. This board gamer says, much like fashion shows, This game works best with more people, but can be a bore in small groups. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about new videos. If you're bored now, click this for more games.